Hey guys, welcome to Social Studies. So, what you guys need to have is this packet right here in front of you. So, it says Unit 1 Concepts of Geography. If you need to pause the video to go get this packet and get it in front of you, go ahead and pause. You'll also need a highlighter and something to write with. So, like we said in the Google Meet before, at any time you can always pause the video to catch up, slow down, rewind, anything that you need to do. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, we are going to be talking about latitude and longitude. So, I'm here. So, imaginary lines on Earth. Latitude and longitude are imaginary lines used to identify locations on Earth's surface. Parallels of latitude are imaginary circles that run around the Earth parallel to the equator, while meridians of longitude are imaginary half circles that run between the geographic North Pole and South Pole. So let's go ahead and we are going to highlight here. I'm going to pick a different color. So the first thing that we need to really understand is that our parallel lines of latitude are whole circles that run parallel to the equator. So go ahead and highlight what I am highlighting. Now, a tip for highlighting is we don't need to highlight the whole entire page. Okay? Now, for the meridians of longitude, these are half circles. Why these are half circles is because they start at the bottom and then they stop at the top, while our parallel lines of latitude go all the way around the Earth in a continuous. These stop. Now, so they're half circles that run between the North Pole and the South Pole. So go ahead and highlight that. I'm going to give you time to pause the video. I don't know if this is... Oh, cool, it doesn't go away. Alright, so if you need to pause the video, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next part. So now we're going to read about latitude and longitude identify absolute location. So latitude and longitude can be used to identify absolute location, which is an exact location on Earth. Latitude and longitude are measured by and identified by degrees. I'm going to go ahead and pause there, and I'm going to highlight that absolute location is an exact location on Earth. And it is measured and identified by degrees. Because that is very important that we need to remember. So now we're going to move on to the next paragraph here. It says, latitude describes a location on Earth's surface in relation to the equator. Remember when we read up here, we read that parallels of latitude are imaginary circles that run around the Earth parallel to the equator. So our latitude is a location on Earth's surface in relation to our equator right here. Now, the equator is located at 0 latitude. The degree of latitude measures a location's distance north or south of the equator. Let's go ahead and we are going to highlight that. The degree measures a location's distance north or south of the equator. Now, longitude. Let's talk about longitude. It says, longitude describes a location on Earth's surface in relation to the prime meridian. The prime meridian is located at 0 degrees longitude. The degree of longitude measures a location's distance east or west of the prime meridian. So let's go ahead and let's highlight that the degree of longitude measures its location's distance east or west of the prime meridian. So what's really important here is for our latitude, our equator is 0. And then for our longitude, our prime meridian is 0. And here we're measuring north and south. And then for our longitude, we're measuring east and west. This will make more sense when we start practicing with this. So if you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to go ahead, and what I want you to do is pause the video, and you are going to go ahead and you are going to fill this information out on your own. Use page 1 to help you. All of the answers are on this page here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to read our directions. It says classify each statement as describing either latitude or longitude. So you can write lat or long. So we'll do the first one together. The equator is this type of line. So I'm going to go up here, and I see my equator is running parallel, and it's a circle all the way around. It even says the equator is located at 0 latitude. So we know that the equator is a latitude line. Since I'm using my mouse, I'm just going to put lat for latitude. So now I'm going to read these. I'm going to give you time to pause the video, and you can complete it on your own. So number 2 says the prime meridian is this type of line. Number 3 says these lines measure distance north and south of the equator. Number 4 said these lines run around Earth parallel to the equator. Number 5 says these lines measure distance east and west of the prime meridian. Okay, number 6 says these lines run between the geographic north and south poles. Okay, so this is the last thing that we are going to do today, is we are going to learn how to write latitude and longitude. So the first thing, we need to remember that latitude lines are north and south. Okay, the locations are north of the equator are measured north.
See y'all. Y'all have a good day.
So all of these lines here are going to be north, because we are north from the equator. If we look at our compass rose, I hope you guys aren't laughing at my drawings over there on the other side of the computer. I am doing my best. Okay, so we have Norman or north, eats or east, soggy or south, waffles. All right, so there is our north. Now it says locations south of the equator are measured as S or south. So if you have another color, you can kind of do one of these. So all of these are south because our equator is smack in the middle. Okay, so here's our equator. It separates our north and our south. So now if we look, let's go ahead and look at point A. Point A is located at 15 degrees south. It's on this line here. It doesn't say 15 degrees, but since it's halfway between 30 and 0, you can just divide 30 by 2. So now let's look at our degrees of longitude. I'm going to go ahead, before we start reading this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight our prime meridian, which is our 0. Okay, now let's look at, okay, so now our degrees of longitude are east and west. So locations east of the prime meridian are measured as E. So if we look at our compass rose over here, all of these here are east. I know I'm doing a great job staying on the lines here, guys. All right, so now it says locations west of the prime meridian are measured as west. So now I'm going to color all of these. Okay, so this is west. So now let's look at location C, which I kind of colored over here. It says location C is located on the longitude line of east.
Just logged in. This mom was like, as soon as you hit the end button.
So I know it's hard to see, but if you run this line down here like this, you'll see that it's east. Okay? All right, so now what I want you to do is you're going to do the assess your understanding on your own, and then you're going to be all done. So the directions say, using the globes on this page, identify the latitude of location B in degrees north or south. Then identify the longitude of location D in degrees east or west. So number 1 says location B is at what? So we're going to look over here at our latitude to find location B. Go ahead and write that down. Number 2 says location D is at blank. You're going to use this map over here for longitude to find location D and write the longitude lines. Again, if you need any help or anything, go ahead and pause the video, rewind the video, or write your question down on a sticky note or on this page. And when we review your answers tomorrow, we'll be able to answer your question.